Su Shu was forced to travel quickly to Xuchang. When Cao Cao heard he had arrived, he sent Sun Yu, Cheng Yu, and several other strategists to welcome him. Su Shu entered the prime minister's residence and greeted Cao Cao. Cao Cao said, "A man of such wisdom as you, why would you choose to follow Liu Bei?" Su Shu replied, "In my youth, I fled from chaos and wandered the land. By chance, I reached Xinye and befriended Liu Xuande. My old mother lived with me, and Liu treated her with great kindness. I could never forget his virtue." Cao Cao smiled. "Since you are here, you can now care for your mother daily, and I shall have the pleasure of learning from your counsel." Su Shu took his leave and immediately went to see his mother, kneeling and weeping before her. His mother was startled. "Why are you here?" Su Shu said, "I served Liu Yuzhou in Xinye, but after receiving your letter, I hurried here." Madame Su slapped the table in anger and scolded him, "You've drifted for years, and I thought you'd matured. Yet you ve graun more foolish. You've studied the classics and should know that loyalty and filial piety cannot always coexist. Cao Cao is a traitor who deceives the emperor and disrupts the realm. Liu Xuande is famed for his virtue and is kin to the Han. Since you've chosen to serve him, he is your rightful lord. How can you, for a forged letter, abandon righteousness and disgrace yourself? Foolish child." Su Shu dared not raise his head. His mother turned and went behind the screen. Soon after, a servant came running. "The old lady has hanged herself." Su Shu rushed in, but she was already gone. He fainted with grief. When he awoke, Cao Cao sent gifts and came personally to pay respects. Su Shu buried his mother in the southern fields of Xuchang and mourned her in plain clothes, refusing all of Cao Cao's offerings. At that time, Cao Cao was preparing to march south. Sun Yu advised, "It is too cold to campaign. Wait until spring to move your troops." Cao Cao agreed and diverted the Zhong River to form the Xuanwu Pool, where he began training a navy for future southern expeditions. Meanwhile, Liu Bei was preparing gifts to visit Zhuge Liang in Longzhong. Suddenly, a messenger announced, "A scholar has arrived. He wears a tall cap and flowing robe, looking like an immortal." Liu Bei exclaimed, "Could it be Kongming himself?" and hurried out to greet the visitor. It turned out to be Sima Hui. Delighted, Liu Bei welcomed him inside. "It has been long since we met. I've been tied up with military affairs and have not paid you a visit. Today is a great honor." Sima Hui said, "I heard Su Yuanji was here and came to see him." Liu Bei sighed. Cao Cao imprisoned his mother and used her to lure him back to Xuchang. Sima Hui shook his head. "That was Cao Cao's trick. I know Madame Su well. She would never write such a letter. If she had been alive, she'd rather die than urge her son to betray righteousness." Liu Bei was startled. "Why would she die?" Sima Hui said, "Because she was too proud to live knowing her son had been deceived into dishonor." Liu Bei then asked, before leaving, Su Shu recommended a man named Zhuge Liang. "What kind of person is he?" Sima Hui smiled. "Yuanji should have left quietly. Why drag Kongming into this?" Seeing Liu Bei puzzled, he explained, "Kongming is close friends with Cui Zhouping, Shi Guangyuan, Meng Gongwei, and Su Yuanji. The four are brilliant men, yet Kongming's vision surpasses them. He once said, pointing at his friends, 'You may all become governors or administrators,' and when asked of his own ambition he just smiled. He often compares himself to Guanzhong or Yu Yi. His talent is beyond measure." Liu Bei said, "Yingchuan truly breeds sages." Sima Hui replied, "In ancient times, a stargazer named Yin Kuei observed that the stars gathered over Yingchuan, indeed a land of talent. Guan Yu interrupted. Guan Zhong and Yu Yi were giants of their age. Isn't it boastful for Zhuge Liang to compare himself to them? Sima looked. I'd say even those two fall short. Better to compare him to Jiang Zia, who restored the Zhou for 8 centuries, or Zhong Liang, who revived the Han for 4. Everyone was amazed. Sima Hui rose to leave, laughing as he went. Even if the crouching dragon finds his lord, he may not find his time. What a pity. He disappeared into the distance. Liu Bei sighed, a true recluse indeed. The next day, Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhong Fei set out for Longzheng. They saw some farmers singing as they ploughed.
The SKYs are round canopy. The earth are chessboard wide. Men play black and white in turn.
Striving for fame and pride.
In Nenyang lives a recluse. Who sleeps trug all the tide.
Liu Bei asked, who wrote this song? A farmer answered, the crouching dragon himself. Liu Bei eagerly asked where he lived. The farmer pointed ahead. That ridge to the south is Wulong Ridge. His thatched cottage lies among the sparse woods at its foot.
Before long, Liu Bei saw the ridge, beautiful and serene.
He dismounted and knocked on the door.
A boy came out.
Liu Bei introduced himself, but the boy said, that's too long, I'll just say Mr. Liu came. Liu Bei asked if the master was home. The boy replied, he went out early this morning. Sometimes he's gone for days, even half a month. Zhong Fei grumbled, since he's not here, let's go back. Liu Bei wished to wait, but Guan Yu said, better return and send someone to inquire later. So Liu Bei told the boy, when your master returns, please tell him Liu Bei came to pay his respects. He mounted and left, glancing back at the peaceful scenery of Longzheng, verdant woods, gentle streams, cranes and apes at play. He was filled with admiration. As he left, a dignified man approached from a side path, wearing a relaxed cap and a plain robe, carrying a staff. Thinking it was Zhuge Liang, Liu Bei hurried to bow. The man introduced himself, I am not Kongming, but his friend Cui Zhoping of Bowling. Liu Bei and Cui Zhoping sat on a stone in the woods while Guan Yu and Zhong Fei stood by. Liu Bei said, the realm is in chaos. I came to seek Kongming's strategy to bring peace.
Cui Zhoping smiled.
Your intent is noble, but history flows in cycles of order and disorder. Gaozu rose with a sword to end chaos. 2 centuries later, Wang Mang usurped the throne and chaos returned. Emperor Guangwu restored the Han. Again peace turned to turmoil. Now, after 2 more centuries, war rises once more. It is not easy for any man, even Kongming, to reverse heaven's course. The wise follow heaven and rest, those who resist it labor in vain. Liu Bei said, I understand. Yet as a descendant of the Han, I must do my utmost to restore it, not leave all to fate.
Cui Zhoping bowed.
I am but a rustic, unfit to discuss empire. Still, since you've asked, I speak my humble view. When Liu Bei inquired about Kongming's whereabouts, Cui did not know. Liu Bei invited him to visit his residence, but he declined, saying he preferred a quiet life. They parted respectfully. Zhong Fei muttered, we came for Kongming and ended up chatting with this pedantic recluse. Liu Bei replied, even a hermit's words carry wisdom. A few days later, word came that the crouching dragon had returned home. Zhong Fei suggested summoning him, but Liu Bei said sternly, Mencius taught that seeking a sage through improper means is like wanting a guest to enter while keeping the door closed. Zhuge Liang is a true sage. How can I summon him rudely? So the three set off again for Longzheng. It was deep winter, snow falling thick.
Sang Fei shivered. No ohnes Fichting in this cold.
Why chase after some idle scholar? Let's go home and keep warm. Liu Bei said, I want him to see my sincerity.
You too my return if you wish.
Zhang Fei grumbled, I fear no cold or death, just that brother's effort will be wasted. Ignoring him, Liu Bei pressed on. Near the cottage, they heard someone singing in a roadside tavern, songs of heroes and kings. Thinking it was Zhuge Liang, Liu Bei entered and found Shi Guangyuan and Meng Gongwei drinking together. They said, we are his friends, not he himself, and declined to discuss statecraft, urging Liu Bei to continue his search. Liu Bei went again to the thatched cottage. The boy said the master was reading inside. Overjoyed, Liu Bei entered.
On the door hung a couplet.
Be content and pure to see one's aim. Stay calm and distant to reach afar. From within came singing. Through the crack, Liu Bei saw a young man warming himself by the fire and chanting. The phoenix rests only on the parasol tree.
A vorti man servis only a vorti lot. I till my fields and play my lute.
Awaiting heaven's destined time. When the song ended, Liu Bei greeted him. The young man returned the bow, saying he was Zhuge Jun, Kongming's younger brother. Their elder brother Zhuge Jin served Sun Quan in the east, while Kongming was the second son. Liu Bei asked if Kongming was home. Zhuge Jun said, he went out with Cui Zhouping, perhaps sailing, visiting temples, wandering villages, or playing music. His comings and goings are free as the wind. Zhang Fei urged, let's go back. Liu Bei said, we've come this far, we must leave a message. He asked for paper and wrote a heartfelt letter, lamenting the decline of Han and the chaos of the warlords, begging Kongming to use the wisdom of Liu Shang and Zhong Liang to save the realm. He left the letter with Zhuge Jun to deliver. Just as he was leaving, a servant shouted, the old gentleman has returned. Across the bridge came a man in a fur cloak and warm cap, riding a donkey, holding a gourd of wine, singing as snow fell. Liu Bei said joyfully, that must be the crouching dragon, and rushed to greet him. The man dismounted and bowed, but Zhuge Jun came running to explain, this is not my brother, it's our brother-in-law, Huang Chengyan. Liu Bei praised his poetry, and Huang laughed. I had just been reading the Liangfu Ode at my son-in-law's house, saw plum blossoms by the bridge, and improvised a verse. Liu Bei had no choice but to take his leave. Snow fell heavier as he looked back at Wulong Ridge, his heart filled with melancholy. By the time Liu Bei returned to Xinye, it was spring. He chose an auspicious day, fasted and bathed for 3 days, and prepared for a third visit to Wulong Ridge. When Guan Yu and Zhang Fei heard of it, they were displeased and came to dissuade him. The narrator concludes with a hint. A sage yet to be moved, a hero humbles himself. Earnest pursuit breeds doubt among the generals. What they said shall be told in the next chapter. Summary. This chapter follows 3 threads. First, Su Shu is tricked into returning to Xuchang. His mother dies by her own hand to uphold honor, leaving him to mourn in filial piety. It embodies the tragedy of loyalty and filial duty cannot coexist. Second, the reappearance of Sima Hui, Cui Zhouping, and others magnifies Zhuge Liang's legend. His name rises from comparable to Guanzhong and Yu Yi to equal to Jiangxia and Zhongliang, establishing his mythic stature. Third, Liu Bei's 2 of the 3 visits. The first sees only a servant, the second, amid snow, he meets Kongming's friends, brother and in-law. His persistence, writing a personal plea in the cold, highlights his sincerity and foreshadows the destined meeting to come. The chapter ends with Guan Yu and Zhong Fei's discontent, paving the emotional ground for the next chapter's climactic 3 visits to the thatched cottage, where true ruler and sage finally meet.
Knowledge points.
1.in Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Su Shu's mother's suicide after being used by Cao Cao is a fictional addition. In historical records of the Three Kingdoms, only Su Shu's departure is mentioned. 2. The novel dramatizes Liu Bei's repeated visits with vivid imagery, snowstorms, poetic songs, mistaken identities, which are absent from history. These literary embellishments heighten Liu Bei's sincerity and the fateful tone leading up to his meeting with Zhuge Liang.